Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jeff coming at you with a new series for 2023. This is the first episode and I'm calling it Accelerate Flow State. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the hell does that mean? I went over it a little bit in the call last week, and as you've probably heard from the old Mindset Monday series, that my word for 2022 was flow. And the more that I was able to focus on flow, learn about flow, practice flow, and optimize what I was doing in flow, it made me realize how important this is in my life, and that kind of concept rolled into 2023 and expanded upon in 2023 is to accelerate that flow state. Like, how do I get the most out of it? How do I maximize the flow state so that I can maximize my results, optimize the effort that I'm inputting, and just really push my life to the next level in 2023. So that's kind of the idea behind Accelerate Flow State. Now, if you're not as familiar with flow state, there's a bunch of research out there about our brain chemistry and how the things that we do affect it and affect our ability to get into flow state, which is basically where you are in the zone, if you will. Time disappears, the sense of effort disappears, the sense of self disappears. You don't have all of these negative thoughts like, oh, I can't do that, or this is going to be hard, or how am I going to do it, or whatever. You just start doing it and you take control of the situation and you start delivering results. That's flow. And a lot of times, like, hours could go by and here you are in this flow state and you get done. All of a sudden you kind of come to and you have this whole sort of creative bank of things that you've accomplished over that past period of time. Well, how do you maximize and optimize that? So there's a TED Talk out there by a guy named MIHALY, CSIKSZENTMIHALYI, something like that. I'll drop the link in the description for this video so that you can see it. Everybody butchers his name. It's crazy, but his research is on point. And then there's a book also that has a bunch of in-depth information, and it's called Stealing Fire by Steven Kotler. So I'll drop the link to that as well. Now, if this isn't your primary focus and you just want to kind of learn the basics, what I always do, a hack that I always do on these types of subjects where I don't want to take a super deep dive, is I'll go on YouTube and I'll just say, like, Stealing Fire book summary, and I'll watch a 10-minute video on 2x speed or a couple of those, and I'll kind of get the idea, and then I'll have a clue about what's going on, but I don't necessarily need to know all the details, because with flow, there's so much brain research that's coming out, like neuroscience and with biohacking and neurohacking and all of that kind of stuff. Like, there's so much information out there these days that you could really, this could be a subject of like personal interest for you and a special interest. So that's kind of what it is for me, but I've spent years sort of developing it over time and kind of dialed into not only what is flow mean to me, how do I put flow into practice, what are the results that I'm getting, and now I'm to the phase where I want to accelerate that. Like, how do I stay in flow the most, for the most amount of time possible to get the biggest results in my life and move my life forward. So that's what I want to go through in this series, is bringing those insights to you guys on, I don't know if I'll do this every week or maybe twice a week or whatever. I'll just kind of see how it goes and flows, and bring it to you when I think there's something relevant. But I think this idea, as I kind of went over on the call last week, or two days ago, was that this idea of accelerating. How can you accelerate your activity and your effort so that you can maximize your results? And I think the first thing is number one, finding out what drains your energy. I mean, ultimately at the base level, that's what flow is. It's like identifying, becoming aware of the things that are dragging you down and draining your energy, and either delegating those things or removing them out of your life so that you can continuously make progress and then you feel better about it. It's not like you get to the end of a session of work and for something that is not necessarily something that excites you, and then you feel doubly drained, right? If you're in flow and you're doing things that you love, you're doing things that bring you energy, you get to the end of a block of time and you're like, hey, let me do 100 push-ups and start again. Like, let's go, let's do it, right? So you want to do more of that. And then once you get to the end of that workday, you're going to be like, man, like when you start to talk about gratitude, it's like, you're going to be like, man, I'm so grateful that I get to do this every day. Like, this is amazing. Like, I get to show and express my gifts to the world around me and bring value in a way that is, you know, feels so good to me. It feels so on point for me, and it brings me energy. Like, man, this is amazing. And I think these are sort of the peak performance states that, you know, we all want to get into. And if you look at the peak performers in Silicon Valley, entrepreneurship, really even in corporate America at the top levels, you're going to find that these people are focused on these types of issues. They're not, this isn't just kind of like some kooky, wacko, pseudoscience, woo-woo stuff. Like, when you put all of these ideas and practices together, it really comes together in this sense of flow, and it's all based on neuroscience and physiology, because we all have chemicals in our brain, right? We're just a chemical cocktail is what's driving everything that we do. So the more that we can manipulate that chemical cocktail intentionally and with awareness, the more we're going to be able to maximize the results from the effort that we put in. Right now, you know, a lot of people are messing with that chemical cocktail without intention, even if they're just doing it from, you know, going and standing in line at Starbucks for their caffeine, right? Or nicotine maybe, or maybe it's something that is more of a physiological type of practice, like a breathwork practice or ice baths or some kind of other biohacking method that people are using, or pharmaceuticals like Ritalin or Adderall, or, you know, any kinds of drugs that you could imagine. Like, people are altering their state of consciousness in so many different ways. And once we get real with that and we kind of accept that reality, you know, the last time I was in academia, in law school, actually, I was in my early 30s when I went to law school, and there were a lot of people that were 10 to 15 years younger than me, that maybe not 15 years, but at least 10 years younger than me, that were in law school with me. And I know, looking back, that they were using, you know, like Adderall and different things like that, whereas I was sort of a little bit older. I didn't really know about that stuff, didn't really care about it. But, you know, I was competing with those people. So ultimately, it's like your competition is focused on these things. So how is your competition able to be that much more productive than you? Maybe it's something that they're doing something that you would have no interest in doing, but at least being aware and at least diving into what are those practices that you do want to do, that do make sense to you, that do align with you. How can you utilize those so that you can at least get in the game and compete? Because I'm all about optimization. I'm all about peak performance. And as I kind of evolve as an entrepreneur, I want to continue to learn and adapt and innovate and be creative. I mean, all of these things are what's going to separate the winners from the losers in the next phase of the downturn, the economy, wherever the economy goes. If you're not prepared for that mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, whatever, like, you're going to be a loser, right? So you've got to get your mind in the right place. You've got to get the things that are really supporting your happiness and your well-being into place now, so that you're ready for to weather any of those storms when they come up. So this whole series is going to be about how to accelerate your flow state, how to optimize the effort that you put in to your work and your life and your career and your relationships, your family, etc., so that you can maximize and optimize everything that you do. I look forward to taking this journey with you. The reason I do these is mainly so that I can learn more about it myself and keep myself accountable for the things that I want to accomplish in my life. And I want to bring as many of you along with me as I can. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.